because as of Watch What Happens Live, they were on again, off again.
Yeah, it's still up in the air.
Right. Even though they are officially divorced. I hope, this is my hope for this whole situation, that him seeing what she said on this episode is enough for it really to be over. So that by the time we get to the reunion,
yeah.
it's got to really be over. That's what I could see would be the best case scenario for this whole thing to play out. And it's the only way it will play out that way, because it's got to be him that ends it.
Right.
Because of what he saw that she said.
Right.
Because she won't. It's obvious that she won't. Based on everything that she said, she will not do it.
Right.
Welcome to We Wine Whenever. Grab your glass and join 3 Jersey Shore housewives, Wendy, Kelly, and Lori, as they dive into everything from Bravo drama to life's everyday chaos. It's unfiltered, it's hilarious, and it's the real talk you've been waiting for, from relationship to pop culture. We drink wine whenever, and we hope you do too. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Cheers! Hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
So we just finished the Cully Strong Walk, the 5K today.
5th annual.
The 5th annual Cully Strong Walk. And we're going to put a link to that in our podcast. So they do work for mental health awareness and suicide prevention. And it's a great cause. And it's the 5th one we went to.
Yep. And we love doing it.
We do. And we are going to talk today about The Real Housewives of Miami, Season 7, Episode number 2, Miami Takes Milan.
Mm-hmm.
We start out with Gertie, Lisa, and Adriana. They meet up and they're talking about how Lisa's walking in the Milan Fashion Week, and also Larsa's going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa talks about that her father just had a heart attack and that she's worried about leaving him. But I thought last week, didn't she say he had a stroke?
Yes, she did. I'm glad you brought that up because I thought I was going crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even bother.
But he could have had a stroke, been hospitalized, and then had a heart attack after that.
Okay, yeah.
Like,
all right.
like it could have been the sequence of events.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad that we cleared that up, because I was just like, wait, I thought, okay. So that that would explain that. And she's worried about him, which I don't understand. I mean, I do completely understand, because she just got back together with him. They had been estranged for quite some time. And Larsa was asked to walk in the fashion show because she's very good friends with the designer.
Which is complete bullshit.
You don't think she's friends with him?
I think she's friends with him, but I don't think he asked her to walk in it. I think he asked her son to walk in it. Why would she say no to walking in a fashion show?
Because she wanted her son to walk in it. And why would he ask Lisa?
I'm calling bullshit on Larsa's claim that she was asked to do something and she turned it down.
Well, she's supporting her son. She suggested that Preston do it. He's 22. And this is the first thing he's ever done. Like, he's never done runway modeling before. So then we find out that Lisa has been modeling, since she was younger. And that's actually how she was able to get her A1 visa to come to the United States, because she's from Canada.
Yeah.
And this is the second time we've heard of this A1 visa, because we had talked about that's how PK wound up coming over here.
That's right.
Right? And
so it's like a work-related one.
It is an entertainer / celebrity. Remember we were saying?
That's right.
Right.
Yes.
So I thought that was very interesting. I was like, oh, wait a second. We heard of this before when PK. We found out that's how PK got his.
That's right. Can you believe the difference in how Larsa looks now than the first season she was on?
I mean, that's what plastic surgery does.
Really jacked up her face.
Not just her face, her whole body.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying to me, it wasn't for the better. And I'm no beauty queen, but I don't like her. So
I think
feel
you are a
confident
beauty
saying
queen.
that.
So there.
Thank you. Thank you. Same.
Julia and Alexia are working out together. Alexia. They're talking about the party with Lisa and Larsa and the way that they spoke to each other. And Alexia asks Julia, like, how she is with Gertie. And Julia says, well, she's not good with her, but she doesn't really care. Which I thought that was interesting. You know? She said there was...
I think probably because her claims are nonsense of why she's beefing with her. But I don't really care. It's kind of like, well, then you don't want to talk about it because your claims are nonsense.
Yeah, so the claims we now find out about is that she said that a few months prior, she was going on this cruise and Martina was supposed to be going with her. And Martina had an health care issue the morning of the cruise, and that she offered to take her spot, to take Martina's place. So she's like, Gertie did come with me. And then when she got there, she made it all about herself and publicity and her PR. And she was accusing me of not looking after her properly. I don't know about this whole thing. Like, it doesn't make sense to
No,
me.
we need more clarification on that. It's
I want to
definitely
hear.
all about the PR and the publicity, but the story that Martina couldn't go the day of, I mean, she was being treated for breast cancer, so that's believable. But Gertie saying the day of, a mother of two, a wife with a career, also being treated for breast cancer, she just on the drop of a dime is like, I'll go with you. I think Gertie was already also supposed to be there.
Listen, I think that was it didn't make sense,
It
right?
doesn't make sense.
I want to hear Gertie's side of this.
Yes.
Like, I feel like we need to hear the other side of this because what she is saying makes no sense at all.
Not at all.
Right? So then Julie asked Alexia how she's feeling, and she said, because Julie said she saw that the judge ordered Todd to move the divorce proceedings forward, or, he's 30 days to do it, or he's going to dismiss it. And she says to Alexia, like, what do you want? And she's like, well, I don't want him to go forward with it. And I was just like, oh my God, Alexia.
I know. He's got some hold on her. It's very Louis-esque. It's very Louis-like. It's very interesting how similar Teresa and Alexia's situations are. Not that anybody filed for divorce, but I'm just saying, doesn't it? It's very similar.
Yeah. Then she starts crying and she's like, she feels like the ball's in his court and like she doesn't really have a say and that this is going to show his true colors. And we'll get back to that later because
at her dinner,
yeah. So then they get to Milan, Italy, and I thought this was hysterical. So Jody and Lisa landed. Of course, they were on the same flight. I mean, Larsa said there's only one flight out of Miami, and she was rushing Preston. So of course they were going to be on the same flight. There's only one flight out of Miami. So they didn't say hi to each other on the flight. And then the car that meets them is picking them both up. Of course, they're both going to the same show. They're going to the same hotel. They're going to send two separate cars?
No. And I'm sure nobody's calling that designer and being like, listen, Lisa and Larsa aren't getting along. Can you send two cars? The designer would be like, fuck you. I'm putting on a fashion show. I got other more important things to do. So yeah, you're in the same car. They probably should have expected that.
Right. And so as soon as Preston sees what's going on, he jumps into the front seat and Larsa's like, you're leaving me? I was like, good for you, Preston.
Good for him because he was probably like, I know exactly what's about to happen and I want no part of it.
Yes. I mean, he's the only mature one in this bunch, to be quite honest with you.
I did like how Larsa described him. Like, she's like, my other two are like sports fiends and he's like my artsy kid and my music kid and I did like that, how she described him, his personality and everything.
Yeah. So they're sitting there facing each other. So not only are they sharing the same vehicle, but Lisa is sitting across from Larsa.
I thought it was interesting how they got all of their bags in the back of that vehicle because they all had a shit ton of bags.
They did.
I'm thinking that's like playing Tetris.
Yes, they did have a lot of bags.
Whatever.
No, I think Tetris, you're right.
Tetris.
They did have a lot of bags. And I thought it was interesting that Larsa has this whole like bench seat to herself. And Lisa's sitting there and Larsa says to Lisa, oh, Jody's going to sit next to you. I'm like, well, where else is he going to sit?
She's like, unless you want to sit next to him.
Right.
Larsa's like, I'm all set. It's almost like they don't know how to fight with each other because they've been best friends for so long.
It's like so stupid, right? Like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
It is.
I mean, Lisa even said, like, this is awkward. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Larsa says, like, this is Preston's thing and I'm not going to mess it up for him. And then Lisa's like, well, this is kind of mature of us. And Jody says, yeah, for like 10 minutes, we're being mature. Right.
Right. Because it didn't take long and Larsa brought the party up.
Right. Exactly. And then this is, so then Preston, so Lisa asked Preston if he's ever walked before. And he's like, no. And she's like, oh, okay, well, you've been practicing your walk. And like Larsa jumps in he says yes, and Larsa jumps in, is like, I haven't seen you practice. I mean,
Like, shut up, Larsa. Just stay out of it.
right. So then Lisa tells Larsa that she's like being a showbiz mom, which, she did not like that.
No,
She's
she
like,
didn't.
well, I've birthed 4 superstar children. Okay.
All right. Says you, but okay.
And she said to Lisa, what you said to me the other day was hurtful. Lisa said, what was hurtful is that you came to my boyfriend's party and you said that Jody's cheap.
Yeah.
And no, it wasn't nice. She's like, okay, well, you can be friends with Marcus then. You choose him, you'll be friends with Marcus. And Larsa says to Jody, I can't be around someone who's publicly bashing my friends. I get her point on that, but it wasn't Lisa that was around Marcus.
Right.
It wasn't Lisa that was around Marcus.
Right. Laura's like, he's using you to get to me. He's
Right.
not your friend.
Right. Right.
Which the not your friend part could very well be true, but why would he use Jody to get to Larsa? Like, unless he was trying to film with Lisa and Jody.
I don't
But they
think so.
had that birthday party for Jody and he wasn't invited. He wasn't there. So to me, like, that showed that Lisa was a good friend.
Right. And from what I was gathering from Jody, it was that it wasn't just Marcus there. It was Jody's friends that were hanging out with Marcus. So
I
what?
understood it as Lisa and Jody were going out to dinner and ran into a group of Jody's friends, of which included Marcus.
Yes, that's how I understood it as well. And like you said, so Lisa is saying that he's just using you, which again, that's not true.
No, and it's not nice.
Right. It's not nice. And then Lisa turns around and is like, sorry to Preston. She's like, sorry, you're, having to listen to this. And then
she kept saying shh,
right, he's here.
don't do this in front of your kid.
Right. Which I agree.
Totally.
I mean, yes, he's an adult. He's 22, but
he was probably nervous about the fashion show and in his own head about what he had to do. And now he's got, his quack mother in the back,
yep.
starting shit with a camera in his face.
Right. So then Lisa brings up about, she's been dealing with her dad for the last 3 weeks. He's in ICU. And she's like, I don't know if he's dying, if he's not dying. I don't know. And Larsa's like, well, then you shouldn't have been here then. You should be there. And
it wasn't her place.
That was not her place to say. I mean, she's already saying and Lisa's like, that's rude.
And it is rude because this is a great opportunity for Lisa. She's been through so much with that scumbag Lenny. This is nice for her to have. She just reconciled with her father. Nobody saw. I'm sure if her father had a stroke and a heart attack within the past 2 weeks, I'm sure this fashion show was booked way before that. She was asked to do this way before that. So, this is a once in a lifetime, maybe not a once in a lifetime opportunity for her, but something that could open up doors for her where she could become independently financially set up.
Exactly.
So, yeah, no, she should do it.
Right. Right. So I totally agree with Lisa on that. That was rude of Larsa. She should have never said that. Then we see Gertie's at the doctor's office. I'm kind of glad she kind of explained this a little bit. So she recently had breast reconstruction surgery to remove the scar tissue. So she was a double D and now she's a big B.
That's lovely, by the way. That sounds absolutely lovely.
I know, right? I mean, you would love to have that done. I
would love to be a big B.
She said that they did some fat grafting, I guess, from other parts of her body to kind of make it right. And again, this is because she has breast cancer. So they were trying to make her whole again.
Right.
Right.
This wasn't elective.
Right. They were trying to make her whole again. And, so the doctor comes in and is examining her and she's like, one of her nipples is going in a different direction. And that would bother me. I'm sorry. That would totally bother me. I completely understand.
Yeah, I understand her husband's issue. He's not happy about another surgery, Russell, but she does have to feel good about herself. She's been through a lot. So whatever she has to do to feel good about herself. And he said to the doctor, what are we just going to keep doing this over and over and over again? The doctor was like, that's certainly not the goal.
Right.
But, typically it takes this many surgeries and we're at this many.
Right.
So,
yeah, I mean, I'm glad that he was there. Listen, his concern is just for her.
Of
He
course.
doesn't, he thinks she's beautiful the way she is. And he is concerned for, every time you go under anesthesia, there's a risk. And every time you have surgery, there's a risk. Like there's a lot of risks. And he's just concerned. But
Right.
he will support her in whatever she decides.
Yeah.
Right?
That's very clear.
Yes. I do hope that this is it. I hope for her sake that, that's what she's hoping. Like maybe with this one more and this will get me to where I need to be. But if not, well, then I guess we're going to have to go and do the other one.
I mean, maybe you take a break in between and just because I'm
Yeah.
sure that, I don't know, but I'm sure that it takes your body a certain amount of time to adjust and fall into place, basically.
Right.
So, maybe
Right.
taking a year off. I don't know how long she went between surgeries, but maybe taking a year off and just seeing how things look after a year and then going back and make sure the cancer's all gone. Like,
Right.
just give your body some time to heal. And maybe that's where Russell's coming from. Like, why don't we just, take a beat?
Yeah, and I definitely think that's probably where he's coming from. Then we see Marisol is talking about getting married. She's with Steve, right? That's
Yes, they're
her
having
husband.
sushi and sake.
Yes. So they were married in 2021, but it wasn't a legal marriage. So they never did the formal paperwork. So now they're going to do it at the courthouse to make it legal. And listen, I think that good for them, like if you don't want it to be legal, that's fine. But, at a certain age and a certain point in your life, there's really a lot of benefits to make it legal.
Yeah. She probably got left a shit ton of money from when her mom passed away, though. She might wanna be I mean, this guy seems very nice, but
Yeah.
you know how I feel about that. These poor housewives, my guard would be up.
Yeah, my guard would be up too. And she's talking about Alexia with Todd and that she feels like that when Alexia is with Todd, that she's a different person. That she's, like, more stressed out. She's a better version of Alexia when Todd is not in the picture. Like, she feels like, you know, they're very close. They've been very close for many, many years prior to the show,
Way before the show.
right?
Yes.
So, she knows who Alexia is, and I think her points are very valid.
When she was talking about her, she says she's defensive. Todd brings out the worst in her. She's been stressed. She's been difficult. All I kept thinking about was Teresa with Louis, honestly. And you
Mhm.
know me, I like to rewatch my New Jersey Housewives.
Yes, you do.
And I watched a couple of episodes from season 10, which is the last season before Louis entered, and she was getting along just fine with Joe and Melissa. I'm not gonna make it about Jersey. But everything Marisol was saying about Alexia, I was like, "God, the similarities are and it's just so funny that they're good friends, Alexia and Teresa."
Yes, yes.
But whatever. But I think Marisol's just trying to be a good friend. I mean, even when they were on Watch What Happens Live, she doubled down on all of that, Marisol, and Alexia was sitting right next to her saying she still wants to be with him.
Yep.
How funny was John Mayer on?
Oh my god, he was so funny. We'll get there because I have a lot of notes about that one too. So Larsa says to her son, like they're like in their hotel room at this point, right? And she's like trying to get her son to see her point of view of what happened in, between her and Lisa. And he's like, listen, that's her business. Like you shouldn't have even gotten involved.
And he's telling her, "Don't be confrontational."
Yeah. I was like, oh, I really like her son.
Yeah, he's great.
I really
More
like
of
her
him on the
son.
show.
So the designer's name is Philip Klein. He arrives at Preston's fitting and he's watching him walk and he's not, he's giving a little bit of direction and Lars is talking about how she would do anything for her children. Okay, that's every mom in America. Like that's every mom in the world. Like we will all do anything for our children.
Exactly.
I thought it was funny when Preston's getting dressed and Philip's like yelling at him, like, don't wear t-shirts under your button-down shirt. That's American. I was like, oh my God.
So American, both Eric and Joe do that.
I know. This is Milan. And he doesn't like how his shoes are laced up. I was like, oh, that's probably American too.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes. How about that little guy, Jack, the global ambassador?
Yeah, what is that? I mean,
I don't know if it's a slur, I don't wanna say it, but
I
I'm not
think
gonna say it.
he's her little like he first of all, he works for Philip, right? I think he's like Larsa's connection to Philip, to be quite honest with you, because it seemed like they were pretty close.
Yes. So here's what probably happened. Philip Klein probably asked Lisa to be in the show. This little Jack reached out to Larsa, and Larsa was probably like, "Get my son in." That's
Hmm.
probably exactly what happened.
But do you think do you think that's how Lisa got in the show?
No,
Through
I think the guy
Larsa?
No,
You
I think Philip Klein probably chose Lisa first. And when Larsa got wind of it from little Jack, they didn't want Larsa, but he got her son in.
Okay. That could be. That could be. So Philip says to Lisa, like, where's Blondie? And she's like, you mean Lisa? We're not friends anymore.
Yeah,
He
like,
said,
who says that?
right. Exactly. He said, well, should we throw her out of the show? And Larsa's like, maybe. I was like, what?
And she said, can I push her down the stairs?
Oh, I didn't read
Larsa
that.
said, can I push her down the stairs about Lisa?
Oh, that's not good.
That's
That's not
kind of
good.
fucked up.
Yeah. Okay, so then the next thing we see, we leave Milan, we go back to Miami, and it's Alexia, Julia, Marisol, and Kiki are all going out to dinner with Johnny, and Johnny is Alexia's friend from Madrid, and they all know him because he's been around.
He's been on the show a lot.
Yeah, like he moved to
He got
Madrid.
he got her in touch with her, second husband, Herman, who had passed away, his supposed lover.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, he's been on the show.
And we find out that when the news came out about Todd, he contacted Alexia and flew her over to Madrid so that she could just get out of Miami and, which I thought was very nice. Like that, he's a good friend.
Very nice.
He's a good friend. So then Marisol says to her, like, where is she with Todd now? And she said, well, the judge is saying he needs to move forward with this or, we're going to have to dismiss it and the ball's in his court. And everyone at the table is like, what do you mean the ball's in? Like, you need to decide, like, what do you want? Like, this is what blows my mind about her because they are all saying what a strong woman she is and how independent she is. And like, what is it that, and I agree with them. Like, these are all qualities that she has. What is it about him that
I don't
she
know.
just is leaving it up to him? It is so desperate and it is not her. It is not in her character.
I know. I
It
don't know
really
what he
isn't.
has on her. Not has on her, but like what
Right.
kind of hold he has over her.
Yeah, she's saying that, but then she goes on to say that now she thinks that he's playing her. The story was that he liked the show in the beginning, but then he didn't like the way he was seen. Like he didn't see him, like he didn't like the way he saw himself or that the way the public was seeing him, right? That was like part of the story.
He wants to control his narrative on the show. You're never in control on these shows. The producers are in control. And once they see one thing, they're going to narrow in on it. And that video he did, it's again, like that video with Louis, like they, made it a big deal. That video with Todd apologizing to Anthony, that's who you are on this show.
Yeah.
You're that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So then she says, when they got back together and after therapy, she said to him, I will step down from the show. You are my family. You are more important to me. And Todd's response to that was, well, it's too late already.
Yeah. What does that mean?
What
It's too
does
late.
that mean?
It means that he's already painted in this light. And it would have been worse for him if she quit the show because it would have made him look even worse. It would have made it look like he forced her to leave the show.
Yep.
He's not going to like this episode after everything she was saying at the table.
No. So Alexia said that I'm realizing it's that he doesn't like the show. It's that he doesn't like the power that it gives me. And he doesn't like my friend group. He doesn't like that he does not have control. And I think that's what it comes down to. He doesn't have control. He has control over her, but that's all he has control over. And he is that kind of person who needs control over everything.
It seems it. I mean, her first husband went to jail for being involved with the cartel.
Right.
Your second husband, very wealthy, you find out he had a lover you never knew about. Your son suffered a traumatic injury and now has special needs as a result. Like, you've been through it, Alexia. You can get through this.
Yes.
You've been through it.
Yeah,
You're a very, very strong woman.
Absolutely.
I mean, and you've done all of this. Well, not the first husband, but it came out on the show what he was involved in and why he went to jail. You've done all of this in the public eye, and you're still a fan fave. People still love you. So you don't have to hold on to him. And I'm sure this is what all of her friends are telling her.
Yeah, I'm sure that they are. And like you said, we are not big fans of Alexia, but I will not take any of what you just said about her away from her because it's absolutely true. And
Absolutely.
she is like, a lot of people really like her.
Yeah.
So, like, you don't need this. You just
No.
don't.
There'll be a
And then
long line of guys waiting to date you, although be careful because they're all
yes.
probably opportunists.
Yeah.
A lot of
And she even said, like, she's like, "It's not like I'm not bashing him. What I'm saying to you is the truth. I'm just telling you the truth. He doesn't give me the security that I need. Like, this is all temporary." And then when she went on to say, "I live in your fake rented apartment. I drive your fake rented car. Nothing is yours. Nothing is mine." I was like, "Whoa."
easy.
Did you see the look on their faces? Like Marisol's face and Julia's face. They're just like,
So here's the thing. He obviously doesn't have the money that he claims to. Maybe she doesn't have all that much left either. And maybe that's what the hold is. Maybe she went through the money Herman left her. I mean, we don't know what happened to the magazine. Herman probably had children from a prior marriage. Maybe they're running the magazine. Maybe they gave her a lump sum and it was like, okay, nice knowing you. He's gone. So now we're
mm-hmm.
good. And maybe she went through, maybe it is all financial. You'll never know with these housewives because they always pretend to have more than what they have, most of them.
Well, I did say last week that I really feel like it's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah,
And she just confirmed it. It was all smoke and mirrors,
right.
right?
Yeah.
And Alexia said, this is like why I'm so mad at myself. Like, I'm mad at myself that I am weak when it comes to this. Like, this isn't who she is.
And maybe it was like a John Jansen Shannon thing where she paid for everything in the beginning and he did blow through her money and he don't have it now.
Mm-hmm.
I hope not. I hope that that's not what happened, but it would make sense. I mean, at least that would be a puzzle piece that would kind of put everything together.
It would make sense. And then Marisol calls him a narc, which stands for narcissist. I never heard that word
Me
before.
neither. I always thought of a narc as being something else, but
Yes, me too, especially in the Miami world. Right?
exactly. Exactly.
But then she goes on to say, Julia was married to a narc, and this one was like she's telling everyone, all these other people that have
Everybody's
been
had a narc.
right. Everyone's had a narc, and Alexia has now come to the conclusion that he wants me to file for divorce so that I look like the bad guy. He's been playing me the whole time, and if he wants a divorce, let him file. And then they're all like, "Yeah, yeah," and I'm like, "Wait, no, no! Like, why did you all jump? Like, no,
Yeah.
just."
I know. So did he file? So he didn't. So he
They
filed,
are
but he's.
divorced. They are divorced.
Oh, they
Yes.
are divorced. She did say that.
Yeah, they are divorced. Yeah. So Julia says to Alexia that after what you've told us, like when he left you and how he left Frankie, like every time I see him or I see him out, like that's all I can think about. Like,
Absolutely.
you know,
How could you not? That poor
like,
kid sitting
and
on
then
the couch.
everyone's like, "That's right, Frankie. Like, that's right." And she's like, "Fuck him. Fuck him." Like, as soon as Frankie came up, I was like, "All right, yeah, now she's got it."
Yeah. Yeah.
But she still didn't have it.
She loses it right away.
It was so quick. It was like
She
a
loses it
second.
within seconds.
I was like,
Exactly.
"Oh." So then we go back to Milan. We're back at Fashion Week. It's the day of the show. Lisa is feeling amazing. She looks amazing. I thought it was sweet that she went over to Preston to kind of see how he was doing, make sure he
Yeah.
ate. Like,
Yeah.
I think she is very sweet. I really do.
I do too.
I
So
really do.
Larsa should be giving her some grace after what this poor woman just went through with her ex or soon to be ex. And she's still looking after your kid. Like, come
Right.
on.
Right. So
And Larsa's son did great on the runway.
he did amazing. By the way, he was number 2.
Yeah, so he opened the show. And Larsa shades Lisa for being number 50.
50. Right. And
She's
when
in it, Larsa. You're not. And I
yeah.
don't buy it for a second that she said no.
And as soon as Larsa sees Lisa coming out, she picks up her phone and starts doing selfies. I'm like, come on.
With that big light
Yeah. So
with
rude.
Jack. And
Yes.
Jack went right along with it. So
He did.
F Jack.
Yep. So then they go to this after show party. That party looked amazing.
For sure.
I'll be honest, we've seen many fashion weeks like in New York City. Like we've seen New York fashion weeks. We've seen housewives go to these fashion weeks. We've seen them do the
Yeah.
runways. I've never seen an after party of a fashion show. Have you?
No, but I'll say I have heard that Milan is that's like the biggest
Okay.
fashion
All
week.
right. Listen,
Like
that
everybody's there.
okay.
Everybody goes to that one.
All
So
right,
I would imagine that the parties have to be pretty top tier.
that's now on my bucket list. I would like to go to
Sure.
Milan for Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sneak into one of the
Yes, one of those parties.
I'll
Yeah.
work it. I'll work the catering for you.
There you go. There you go.
Get me in there.
So they're they're in the after party together. They're trying to like kind of be cordial, and then this guy, I never heard of Fabulous. Do you know who Fabulous is?
He's a rapper. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he comes
Not that I could name one song, but yes, I've heard of him.
So he comes over and he's like trying to squash the beef between the two of them.
Well, the funny thing is that they're like, "But let's not talk about it now. Let's just have fun."
Right,
And then
right,
Fabulous, a
right,
rapper, and they're like, "What do you think of this?"
right.
Well, he actually asked what's going on in the housewives world.
He did.
He did ask.
He actually did. He's the one that he did. So he's listening to the story, and Fabulous is like, wait, Lisa didn't hang out with your ex. You can't have a beef with her about that. It was your boyfriend.
He totally sided with Lisa.
100%. And Lisa's like, yeah, he totally, like, he was on my side. And then you see Larsa in the confessional. Oh, no, he was totally on my side. I'm like, no, Larsa.
We heard him.
No, he was not, Larsa. He was definitely not on your side. Then we see across the screen, it says the camera shut down for the night, but the tension between Lisa, Larsa, and Jody didn't.
Well, because before that happens, we do see that Jody texts Lisa that he was alone and felt left out.
Okay. That
Sorry,
is true.
pal. You're filming Housewives. Your girlfriend is a housewife. She just walked in a fashion show and she's at an after party.
Right. And she's working.
She's working. You're on
Right.
your own.
Right.
You're on your own.
Yeah.
And then it says the camera's shut down.
Then the camera shut down. And then we see 1 week later, and this is what we're going to see. It was just like a quick snippet of we're going to see Larsa sitting down with the ladies. I wrote, I don't know everyone. I wrote down Marisol, Gertie, Alexia. And they're asking, like, how was Milan? And she says, well, Jody started getting crazy and was yelling, and he doesn't want us talking. And I don't know exactly what happens. Like,
So she shows a picture and they're all like, now the supposed picture that she's speaking about is online now because I think Lisa is trying to, do damage control.
okay.
It's just a picture of him. Maybe he has like a surprise. I mean, they're trying. I don't know if she's trying to say that he was like angry or look at his eyes. Honestly, after all of this now, I'm thinking maybe Larsa put the AC thing out trying to make it like he has a cocaine problem. And now she's showing this picture because her boyfriend actually did get caught doing cocaine on camera. So maybe Larsa's the one behind all of this. It doesn't seem like there's any validity to it, just like the AC thing. There was no validity to that.
Very interesting. So we're going to have to wait and see a little bit, what happens next.
Yeah. It's just a picture of his face. Like we know when we do this and we make clips for this podcast, the camera catches our faces at some crazy times, right?
Yes.
Like sometimes we have to change the way the picture will just show up because our
Yeah.
faces are all jacked up.
Right.
It could have just been something like that. Somebody could have just been taking pictures of this guy and found the craziest one they could and sent it to Larsa and been like, here, run with this. And she's like,
Yeah.
well, that could look like he's on cocaine.
That's very, very possible.
Let's go with that this season.
Yeah, that's very possible. That's
Yeah.
horrible. It's just horrible.
Mhm. It's just a huge accusation when drugs or substance abuse. The same thing with the Valley. Like these are huge accusations you're saying about someone who is a professional. I don't know what Jody does, but I'm sure he has a good career. He's a professional. It's not okay to do that to somebody. If you're concerned about someone's well-being because you think that they're abusing a substance, you go to them and talk to them and handle it that way. You don't publicly put something out that is potentially not true and could really damage them.
Yeah. And there's so much of that going on.
And I don't put that past Larsa at all.
No, I don't either.
She seems like she's a very spiteful person.
So then on Watch What Happens Live, we have Alexia, Marisol, and John Mayer is the bartender. So John Mayer doesn't watch the show, I guess. Right? Doesn't watch the show.
I don't think he does.
He was a very entertaining bartender.
He's very funny. Every time he's on that, he's very funny because he and Andy are such good friends. Like they play off of each other very well.
They really do. They really do.
And he rolls with it, John Mayer. Like he rolls with it as if he does watch the show.
Right. Right. So they started doing some poll questions. And the first one was, should Alexia divorce Todd? Yes or no? 99% said yes. Whose side are you on, Larsa or Lisa? 85% of the audience was on Lisa's side.
The other 15% is Larsa's family.
Yep. Should Jody stop being friends with Marcus out of love for Larsa? 54% said yes. I mean, it wasn't a landslide, but whatever.
I mean, they're grown men. I don't think they're, going golfing together. I think
No.
if they're in a group of friends, they hang out. But like,
Right.
maybe Lisa should just unfollow him. If it's going to fix the friendship, just unfollow him. What does Lisa care? But don't expect Jody to. I don't think Jody has to.
Right. Right. The next one was Larsa ignoring Lisa's runway walk. Was it petty perfect? Was it petty, perfect, or a bit of both? 91% said that it was petty. It was very petty.
So petty. It was Danielle Staub
Yeah.
when Ashley Holmes was walking on the runway.
Yes. Whose side are you on, Gertie or Julia's? 84% were on Gertie's side.
Because these are normal people voting.
Yes, these are. And then Alexia said, currently her and Todd are not together because Andy asked that question. And then a little bit later on, he said, well, when was the last time you were intimate with Todd? And Alexia's like, well, like, that's an intimate question. And Andy's like, well, like a few months ago. She's like, no, a few days. He goes, well, you just said
You weren't
you're
together.
not together. And she's like, well, yeah, it's Wednesday today. And Marisol's face, you see Marisol's face? She was just like, oh. So Marisol also jumps in. She's like, yeah, no, it changes every day. Like, I don't know unless I ask her. Like, every day it changes whether or not they're together. And then Andy says, like, what are your thoughts seeing your bestie Marisol say everything she had, her thoughts on Todd? And she said that she appreciated that, which I was glad she said that. She's like, because a bestie should do that.
Yeah, and I honestly believe, unlike other duos on these housewives shows, I think that Marisol, like we said earlier, and Alexia really are friends. They were friends before the show. And I think that Marisol is the type of friend that's anything she's saying behind your back, she's saying right to your face.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe all of those things she has said to Alexia, her bro.
I do too. I do too. And I'll be honest with you, the way I'm seeing Marisol, and it's only the second episode this season, I'm actually liking Marisol more than I ever have before.
Me too.
Because
I surprise myself often with these shows,
I
but
know,
I
because
totally agree with you because I haven't.
yep.
You know what I didn't like though? I didn't like how she treated Dr. Nicole. So now Nicole's off the show. I didn't like the way she treated Dr. Nicole because I was a huge fan of hers. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. I like this Marisol.
Yes. What else? Then Andy asked her, what about your sons? What do your sons think of Todd? And Alexia's like, well, Frankie loves everyone. So Frankie loves him. I don't believe what she said about Peter. She said, Peter,
I don't either.
you know, they don't butt into my business. I call bullshit on that.
Totally.
Peter has opinions about Todd, and they are not positive opinions.
And I think if you gave Peter the platform, he'd tell you exactly what he thinks about Todd.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I do believe that Frankie does love Todd because I believe Frankie does love everyone.
I
And
think
that's
you're
why
right.
we all love Frankie because Frankie's awesome. Andy asked her if she regretted offering to quit the show for Todd. And the interesting thing was she didn't say, yes, I regret it. I mean, ultimately, that's what she wound up saying. Like she
Yeah.
wouldn't do it again, but she didn't say she regretted it.
Right. Right.
She said she would never do that. She would never do that now.
Thank God. I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. What are you doing? I think he asked her. I didn't write this down though, and I don't know why. I thought he asked her if you regretted, saying all those things about everything being fake. And didn't she say, well, that was the truth? What I said
Yeah.
was the truth, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And again, it's so weird to me that she's like standing by that truth, but yet she's still going back with him over and over and
Right.
over again.
Right. So what does he
Why?
have?
Right. Like you're standing by the truth of that he's not a good guy. He was not, he was playing you. Everything you have is fake, but yet you're still going back to him.
And again, like I'm sorry, people. They're probably like, "Oh my God, stop!" Like I'm sorry to compare it to Teresa, but Teresa is the type of person, kind of like Luann, how she still married Tom even though he was a cheater. Teresa's going to stay with Louis just out of spite because of her brother, because of this one, because of that one. Alexia doesn't even have that going on in her life. I mean, yeah, Marisol saying she doesn't like him, she doesn't want you to be with him, but it's not like a situation like what Teresa has. Like I don't know what she's doing.
I
I
don't
mean,
know
when you're
either.
in it, you don't see it as clearly, but you have to watch this back and see it clearly.
Yeah, and I was thinking, when Andy asked her if you are together now, and she said no, I'm thinking because he saw this episode, because she got the episode before she left, and this was Wednesday, right? So this was Wednesday. It aired
Yeah.
on Wednesday.
It aired on Wednesday.
He probably saw the episode and is like,
Yeah. Now everybody knows I'm broke.
right.
Now everybody knows I'm not who I was saying I was.
I don't know. So we know we're going to see all season. This is going to go on because as of Watch What Happens Live, they were on again, off again.
Yeah, it's still up in the air.
Right. Even though they are officially divorced. I hope, this is my hope for this whole situation, that him seeing what she said on this episode is enough for it really to be over. So that by the time we get to the reunion,
Yeah.
it's got to really be over. That's what I could see would be the best case scenario for this whole thing to play out. And it's the only way it will play out that way because it's got to be him that ends it
Right.
because of what he saw that she said.
Right.
Because she won't. It's obvious that she won't. Based on everything that she said, she will not do it.
Right.
She can't
It's
do it.
crazy.
It is crazy. I don't know. So that's how I think this one, we're going to have to wait for the damn reunion. And we're going to
Yeah.
have to put up with this Todd and Alexia all season. And it's
Yeah,
going
'cause
to
this
annoy
is
the
what,
crap out of
episode
me.
2?
It's only episode 2 and I'm aggravated.
Oh my God, I'm very aggravated over this.
But I'm hoping the new girl comes in maybe next episode. I want to meet the new girl.
Well, I do too, and it seems like she kind of goes after Alexia.
Really?
I saw a clip where she's like, Alexia, like, and they're sitting across from each other. Like, she's like kind of making fun of her. Like, oh,
Okay.
yeah, it's a situation. And this is Dr. Nicole's fiance's ex who's coming on the show.
Yes. All right. Now I'm looking forward to that.
Have you seen her kids, Dr. Nicole?
They're so cute.
God, they're beautiful.
By the way,
I mean, those two should just keep having babies because they're beautiful.
they are beautiful. I bet you don't know this, but Dr. Nicole and Dr. Tiffany have a podcast together.
I do know.
Did you start following? There's only a couple episodes. I haven't listened to any of them yet, but
I haven't either, but I follow them on Instagram. I see the clips.
Yes, me too.
That is a duo we needed.
Yes. I hope We Wine Whenever follows them. If not, we're going to make sure we do.
We will.
I'm here for this.
Absolutely.
Those were 2 of my favorites. and the fact that they're actual doctors and we're getting actual like life advice and medical. I saw like their topics. I'm like, oh gosh, this is going to be good.
Yep. And Dr. Tiffany was from Dallas, right?
Dallas.
She was on the last season of Dallas. They got to bring that back.
I loved Dr. Tiffany. I really did. I loved
I did
Dallas, to be
too.
honest with you. I loved Dallas.
I did too. I don't know what happened. I didn't like Carrie Duber, but she left, didn't she?
She had already left. I mean,
yeah, I could do without her. But all the other ones I liked. I did not like when Stephanie and Brandy weren't getting along. I did not like that at all.
No, I like them together. I like them as friends.
Me too.
I like Deandra. I like Deandra's mom. I could do without Leanne. Don't need Leanne.
Oh, she's so kooky.
All right, I guess that's it for now.
Yeah.
So please subscribe, follow us on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, give us 5-star reviews. Until next time, bye.
Bye.